We knew that Wrexham were going to be in for a striker, and a big name striker at Championship level, and we thought that Ryan Hardie might be one that they were interested in. It looks like that's absolutely the case. It looks like Ryan Hardie is on his way to Wrexham, and here's why I think this is a very smart addition to Phil Parkinson's squad. First thing to say is that Hardie's been at Argyle for 5.5 years now. He's scored over 70 goals for the club. He's been a real success and reflects a really good signing from an Argyle point of view. At 28 now, it's probably fair for him to stay in the Championship and seek an opportunity like this at Wrexham, and the reported wage is eye-watering. So from both a business and a footballing point of view, making this move makes a lot of sense from Hardie's point of view as well. What's important to point out when it comes to Hardie and when it comes to Wrexham's striker search is that the logic in buying goals is one thing, but when you play in the way that Wrexham play, what you need from your strikers is, of course, to be confident that inside the box they can get on the end of things and they can finish well. But there's also a lot more value that their striker needs to add outside of goal scoring. And there are two key ways where a Wrexham striker is going to add a lot of value. One is aerially, in order to be a focal point for long passes forward from the back, in order to head home crosses from out wide and generally throw themselves about physically. That's a type of which Wrexham have had quite a few over the last few years. But then there's also just a level of speed and of channel running that I think is currently missing in the squad, and I think Hardie fits that bill perfectly. Wrexham generally defend quite deep, and Wrexham like to play quick, long balls forward when they can. And I think to have someone like Hardie, who is really good as a forward that runs the channels, that plays on the last line of the defence, trying to beat the offside track, and is very, very comfortable and happy latching onto balls into the channels, down the sides of centre-backs, in behind full-backs when they've pushed forward. Hardie has excelled at that exact skill at this level for the last few seasons. He is really quick, and he can run at speed for long distances. So as a counter-attacking striker, he's a really, really good player at this level, and in that sense clearly adds a big need in Wrexham's striking department, and I think will complement either Sam Smith or another striker, more of a physical target man type, really nicely. What this means for Wrexham is, if their games are going to look the way that I think they will look, they need to have the right players at the top of the pitch to make the most of the attacking style that Phil Parkinson will want to play. Now, it's worth pointing out what Hardie doesn't do, because at this level you don't buy the complete striker. Hardie won't really touch the ball. I think if there's a prediction I can make now, it's that by the end of next season, if Ryan Hardie plays the whole season for Wrexham, he will end up touching the ball per 90 minutes about as little as any other number 9 in the division, because you don't want Hardie on the ball in congested areas. He doesn't want to receive the ball back to goal, really, and he doesn't particularly want to be competing for a lot of aerial duels with centre-backs. He doesn't want to be dropping in, getting on the ball and playing through balls. You want Hardie on the end of through balls. You want Hardie inside the box, waiting to pounce and finish first time and score proper poachers goals. So Hardie's not a link player. He's not technically incredible. He's not going to create a lot of goals with his passing, but he will create a lot of opportunities for his teammates with the movement that he makes, and by dragging centre-backs out of position, that causes more space for his strike partner and for midfielders to run from deep. So it's not that Hardie won't have an impact creatively, but that it might not show up in the bare stats when it comes to assists or chances created. As mentioned, Hardie is not going to score tons of headers, and he's certainly not going to be the Stephen Fletcher, Jay Rodriguez, Ollie Palmer target man type for Wrexham's attack. He's a good finisher. His performance against expected goals over the course of his career reflects that he's a pretty classic striker at this level. He's someone who might have a run where he scores 5 goals in a month and looks very, very hot in front of goal. He's someone who equally might have a cold patch in front of goal. That's pretty normal for strikers at this level, but he is composed when he runs through. He's used to chances where he's running through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, or getting on a chance inside the box and having to divert it towards goal first time, right foot or left foot. He's very comfortable in goal-scoring situations, and that's what you expect from a PK'd striker, which is what Wrexham are getting here. The fact that he's got 12 goals in the 23-24 season, 10 goals in the 24-25 season, for a pretty poor Championship team who ended up getting relegated, it does suggest that in a better side that creates more chances for the type of player that he is, Hardie's goal output could jump up quite nicely to maybe 15 or more this season, which would be an incredible return and very, very valuable for Wrexham. He's had really good availability throughout his career, very few injuries, and that's exactly what you're looking for as well. Physically seems really impressive in that he can play, he can start tons of games, he can go really hard using that pace, using that stamina for 60, 70 minutes, and then it's probably the sort of player that might come off for a similar type with 20, 30 minutes to go. Plymouth Argyle did really well with that sort of striker unit in their League One promotion. And out of possession, because of his mobility, because of his work rate, he's going to be doing a pretty good job of closing down defenders when they're on the ball, if that's what Parkinson wants him to do. Or he could be one who just stays in position, doesn't waste a huge amount of energy in the press, but as soon as Wrexham win the ball back, Hardie will be making runs from central areas out to the left side, out to the right side, looking to get onto balls over the top, through balls down the sides. He's not an incredible 1v1 dribbler. He's very rarely going to face up a centre-back, chuck in a bit of skill and get a really good shot off, having beaten his man. But he does use a couple of little hesitation moves, a little dummy shot, and then that pace and that quick burst of acceleration to create shots for himself. And that could be something that we see quite a lot when it comes to Wrexham counter-attacks next season. So if Wrexham sign Hardie, no, they're not signing Jamie Vardy, and they're not signing Patrick Bamford. What they are signing is someone who's a peak age Championship striker that has proven himself both in the last 2 years at this level and the 2 before that at League One level to be a striker on an upwards trajectory, who has developed as a goal scorer and as a senior player and as an all-rounder really nicely over the last couple of years. They're getting someone that fits what they need and fits the way that they play very, very obviously, and you can't ask for much more than that in a signing. So I think Hardie to Wrexham makes a huge amount of sense for the club, a huge amount of sense for the player, and I think he's going to be very, very popular with Wrexham fans, not just for his work rate, but for what he brings to the team, and I reckon a decent goal return as well.